Supreme Being, beautiful souls. It's been a very powerful new moon in Cancer that we just passed. And as you know, Cancer is the planet of Cancer is moon actually. In the ancient times, the moon was also considered a planet. And so it was a very, very meaningful and valuable. We still are happy and very grateful to experience these energies, and loads of downloads came to us, and we'll just love to share some of them. And I'm just gonna give some updates for the next 6 months, somewhere up to about a year. And please don't take this into the deepest depth, because if you have been following us for a while, you know that in the way we feel about forecasts and about energies and portals and stuff like this, it's all about what we believe in, and that's what we collectively create in the end. And that's why I'm just giving this more as something to support your, if you can use it this way, of course, to support your spiritual growth, your realization of what to work on within yourselves, because after all, that's the main focus on. The first thing I want to say is thank you for your interest on the last video that Andre put in about the application of the yin yang and the twin flames. And again, our intention on whatever we put out there is always just if it can help one being, that's amazing. We are sharing experience ourselves. We never doubted our twin flame relationship, but because maybe because of our energy, or I don't even know what, there's many people still contacting us and asking us how can we figure out if we're true twin flames. And it is all about what's in the heart, first of all. As you know, we have spoken about them many times, but there are souls that need something that can put them more on the focus, something more material, something that they can actually see and touch. And to begin with, something like this is absolutely amazing, and I find it very, very useful as long as we use any kind of tools and techniques reasonable, because that's the point of everything. If we are not reasonable, then we are actually going on the mind to a very big scale. Okay, now let's just move on to our energy updates and what has just happened. Well, as you know, it's been quite a transition. This year has been quite surprising, even though we kind of knew of the things that were about to start to happen, but we were not really prepared, were we? Right now we are in Bulgaria, and there's huge protests happening right now against the government, for example. And this is something which will continue to go on for quite a while. Actually, I could tell that from what I feel, until the end of the year, we are going to have some turbulent times. We are going to experience a lot of things that we did not expect, like coming out of nowhere, and there will be more and more people coming out and speaking their words, because that's what it's all about right now. We are all about to show who we really are, how have we been really feeling deep within, and I find that amazing and very, very, very beautiful. I'm not going to speak that much on political, financial, and etc. Because I find it more important what energetically is happening right now with us. This new moon gave us a little bit of more mellow energy, and it gave us the possibility of really deep things to come up to the surface for those who needed to experience that. For us with Andre, it was a very relaxing time. We really felt like we needed to take like 2 days away from anything, and we did that. And it was not really like feeling tired, it was more like feeling that we need to preserve this energy for something that is coming up later on. And indeed, it is so. And the most beautiful part of the next 6 months, and I would even say about a year, is that we are now experiencing how people are actually coming up so much different. We are all speaking about oneness and unity, and at the same time we are all going on different ends. Like we are pulling different parts of energies and anything. There's so many differences between people right now. Like it has never been that much, and it's not even polarity anymore, because if we speak about polarity, we have 2 ends of one thing. It's more like this times is like tenfold or even more than that. And actually, this is teaching us something very, very big. This trend will continue. And the point of all this is for us to finally see the beauty of the differences, of how amazing it is that we are all different. We have to understand that even though we come from one source, but we come from different parts of the source, and we express different sides of source. And this is where the differences between all of us come from. That's why some of us are more yin, that's why some of us are more yang, that's why some of us are more in the middle part of the 50-50. We're going to speak in another video where exactly is the balance between these two, because that's also something very important. And we will start to find out now more than ever that all things are not going to work anymore this way. So all these spiritual techniques and tools we have been using for growth and to work on ourselves, they are not going to work anymore the same way. It has been already happening, but now it's going to be more than ever, because we are entering a new stage of a vibe, a totally new dimension, and we cannot expect to use the same tools for the new things. I'm sure you have heard that before, but now is the time when we will all start to experience it. I'm not saying that we should all stop meditating and doing yoga and whatever we are up to, but we really should not look up to all these techniques as the ultimate thing of working on us with. We really have to go deeper. Now is the time to explore the depths of ourselves. And you are the only being who can do that for yourself. There's nobody that can help you. You are the only one who can help yourself. And that's why we really have to turn the focus towards ourselves. It's not about what others think. It's not about what others judge. It's not about what others feel, what we should do, what the world should be. It is all about what we feel that we should be doing and should be happening to ourselves, and whatever we sense, that's what we should be going for. And this all comes because of these differences that are coming up to the surface. So far we have been almost like promoting this oneness in spirituality as almost like we all should become the same thing. We all should be meditating, we all should be good, we all should be kind to each other, all this. But as souls, we need to experience different aspects, and that's what we have come here on earth for. Only here we can experience this deep in energy of the material, this density. We come in a material body, and that is the reason for that. It is exactly so that we can feel what it is like to be this way. There's no other place like earth. Most of the souls here on earth are not souls from earth. Actually, we are all coming from different parts of the universe, and it is time to start accepting that. It is time now to actually work exactly on this, on accepting the differences. And that's why there's so many people speaking like us, for example. And when you come up to someone that gets affected by what you say or by what you do, we should start working on not taking this personally. It's all about, sometimes, actually most of the times, this soul has called you to actually tell them something so that it can provoke something within themselves, so that it can come up to the surface, and so that they can pay attention on working to work with this, whatever it comes. Whether they will realize that or not, it's up to them, but this should not affect you. We are never affecting others. It is themselves, it is ourselves that we affect ourselves. There's nobody that comes to hurt us. It's always us that we hurt ourselves. Either through searching for certain experiences, or on a higher scale, calling this soul to bring us a certain experience. Sometimes it is very difficult to perceive that. I can absolutely understand that it is super difficult, because who can perceive that, if a soul comes to kill another soul physically, that this is actually an experience. Here on earth, it's very difficult to see it this way. But at least on the smaller scale, we can work on this perception, so that this judging between each other finally stops. There's nothing wrong to, counter another person's opinion. There's nothing wrong about that. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are judging, because sometimes we just want to give another point of view. We do perceive the other person's point of view, but we just feel to bring in something different that we also experience within ourselves. And in this aspect, these times that are coming now, all this is gonna be very, very, very active for all of us. Now, there's something that which came a little bit more from the material world, that came last night to me, and I would like to share that with you. And that's about the people who have been having the biggest financial flow with them. You have probably been hearing even before that the financial, I've said that before in another a video about the event, how it came to me, but now it was very clear. And people who are more on the are more financially stable, they all of a sudden, and they are already entering into this awareness, that they start to understand that this financial stability is disappearing, and it will be exactly 1 year from now onwards. That's what I was given. I don't really know if we will really create it this way collectively, but that's what it came. And it's like that they have exactly 1 year to figure out which way to turn. They literally have to change the way they do, the way they attract abundance. Many of them will have to change businesses just so that they keep somehow the same flow, but it's not going to be entirely the same. It will be totally different. And many of them are actually going to turn to spirituality. That has already been happening, and I'm going to share with you something that I think I haven't shared before. I actually worked 15 years in hotels, and these were some of the best 5-star hotels in certain destinations where I have been living. And I had the chance to communicate with some of the richest financially people in the world. And why am I saying this? It has nothing to do with what I have done or to tell you what, amazing life I had, not at all. I just want to share with you that when we are not close to these people, sometimes we judge them too hard, like that they are too much on the ego, or that they're not supreme on the heart. But I can tell you from getting to know a little bit some of these people, that some of them are absolutely amazing. What I actually saw within some of them, I haven't seen within ordinary people. Like, they are so beautiful on the heart, on the respect, on the morals, and they don't take themselves highly and seriously. They really treat themselves as ordinary people, just like all of us, and that's very beautiful. There's many of them already turning to spirituality, and this will continue as a trend. Now, something else very important that we all have to work on, that will be coming up to the surface, it is related to what I've already said about how different we all are, and it's about the order and the chaos, our perception of all this, and our perception of logic, just so that the old things start to collapse. This will work on a very deep level that we didn't even expect. And this will be, learning to perceive that not always 1 + 1 is 2, because that's how it is in the universe. This order and arrangement and logic that we have here on Earth does not necessarily apply out there in the universe. Out there is much more complicated, and the order and logic that applies there can be picked up only through intuition. And this is why it's something that we really need to focus on right now, and not to think that necessarily what works for one will work for the other. Let's say if you are following a certain diet, don't expect that this will do the same miracles for everybody else, because it will not. It will serve a few beings, a handful of others, but the rest no. And that's what they call the organized chaos. That's exactly what it is in the universe. If you see clearly out there in the cosmos, we speak a lot about light, but what do we have beyond Earth? It's mostly darkness. The cosmos is actually very, very, very dark, and it needs this darkness so that we can see all the light out there, all the beautiful stars, and the beautiful light that comes from all the planets. And this is very perfectly arranged. It's beyond the human logic how things are put in there. And that's what we will start to be picking up, that this logic that we have created here on Earth is not necessarily what is you know, the best as we consider it. We are always searching for some stability, and that's part of the stability that of the grounding that we have been using this for grounding until now here on Earth. But as energies change on Earth, we cannot rely on this anymore, because the means of grounding will also change, and now it will be a very big challenge for people to ground. It will be one of the most challenging things. Most of the people will experience difficulty with that. We also experience difficulty with it many times, I can tell you. Maybe that's why I painted my hair color. I don't even know why. By the way, it's henna again. I like it more natural, and it really serves me better. But yes, this is what pretty much is coming up over there on the map. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, give us a like, and thank you very much. Infinite gratitude for being with us, staying on this beautiful journey. Namaste.